Hi, welcome to the Pelvi Biz podcast. Are you a pelvic health PT or OT struggling to start your own practice? This podcast helps pelvic health PTs and OTs get out of debt, gain the income they desire, be able to treat patients without insurance restraints, and learn how to create time freedom for yourself and your family. I'm your host, Dr. Kelly Alhui, founder of Orthopelvic Physical Therapy, Pelvic Health Business Grower, and Pelvi Biz. Over the last 2 years, I went from a solo entrepreneur to a 7-person team and counting. I'm here to help provide a clear path to grow your pelvic health business as fast as possible so that you can gain the time freedom, decrease debt, increase income, and live the life that you desire. Before we get started today, make sure you click the link in our bio to grab your ticket for Pelvi Biz. Now let's get into today's episode. What's up, guys? Welcome to Pelvi Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Alhui. Today, we're going to talk about how to go from side hustle to jumping in full-time to your own practice. Many of you guys have thought about starting your own practice and really haven't made that jump yet, or you kind of dabbled in it, but you don't really have a steady stream of patients coming in the door. So today I'm going to tell you how you can make that jump and it's not as hard and scary as you think. So let's start out with how to first make that jump. So there's 2 different options typically that people do. They either jump full-time right into their business and just cold turkey quit their job. If you're one of those people and you're like, look, I'm just going to go for it. By the way, that was me. Okay. I quit my job. I only had $800 in my bank account. And within 1 month, it put pressure on me that I wanted to make my income within 1 month, and I was able to do that. So you may be that kind of person. If you're that kind of person, typically what I would do is recommend, if you're like an all in or nothing kind of person, then I would recommend, what do you need? It's very important. What do you need to then be making to be able to last you 1 month? So in most people's cases that I talk to, it's around $4K to pay off student loans, to pay a mortgage, to have a car, kids, whatever, about $4 to $5K a month that typically people need to live on. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, if I need $4,000 or $5,000 a month to live on, then what then is my target goal of patients that I need coming in the door a week? So typically it's going to be around 5 to 7 patients a week that you're going to need coming in the door to be able to replace your income at work. Okay. And again, depending on your goal. So you want to know that. So that's very important so that you're like, oh, okay, I can plan to make this jump because it's just 5 to 7 patients, which doesn't sound like a lot because we're so used to just seeing 5 to 7 patients a day in one day. But it can take a second to build up. It doesn't have to take long. Some people are like rocket ships and they just go, and other people kind of drag their feet because they're scared and it's harder for them to kind of go and do the uncomfortable thing. So, it could take anywhere between a month to replace their income up to 3 to 4 months. It's just, again, it's all based on if the person is willing to take action. That is the biggest thing I have to say when it comes to diving into your business. You can have all the skills, you can have all the tools that you need, but are you willing to just go and try the thing? Most people will ask questions, take every course possible, and try to make the thing perfect before they go do the thing. But if you're one of those people, and typically the all-in people are those people that just go and just try the thing and then ask questions to a mentor later or then go and take a course later, those are the people that are going to make it. Because those people just try and they have the motivation to just go and just give it their all. And if it doesn't work, then they're like, okay, how can I pivot? What can I do next? What can be different? So that's very, very important. On the flip side, you may be the person that is like, you know what? I'm going to kind of dabble in this. I'm going to actually get a part-time job and then I'll slowly start building my clientele. Well, that's great. And you can do it that way. Just know that it may take you longer and you may be okay with that. That may be okay too. I just know that if a stage is painful, which the beginning phases of business are painful, and hiring phase, the very first one, not after that, but the very first one is painful because you just don't have systems in place. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what to expect. So those to me are the two most painful things in business, is starting the business and then hiring, because you're just so scared. It's literally, hiring is like quitting your job all over again. It's that scary. So, most people are afraid of that, but, at some point you gotta rip the Band-Aid off and just go for it. So if you're the part-time person, okay, if you are the part-time person and you want to dabble in this, okay, great. So let's plan out how many hours you want to work at the part-time place. Is it 20 hours? Is it 15 hours? And then how much time do you think you want to allot towards your business? I will say this. The more time that you can actually put into your own business, the faster your business will grow and the quicker you will get out of that stage. It's just facts. So then I'm assessing, what do I have in savings? Do I have anything? For me, I didn't have anything. I just literally had $800 in my bank account. That was it. And I had no backup plan. And my backup plan was to live in a tent. Literally, this was it. Because my health was failing. And because of my health, I had really bad health because I was working 2 jobs just to try to make ends meet before I became an entrepreneur. But because of my bad health, that's what actually forced me into entrepreneurship. So I'm actually very thankful that my health was the driving factor, that I realized if I continue to work this job 40 hours a week, okay, 40 hours a week, and this is the first time I only had 1 job after a decade of working, okay? If I continue that way, I literally will croak or I get cancer or something. I felt it coming on. I could literally not move out of my bed. It took me an hour to move out of my bed in the morning. It was horrible. It was really, really horrible. And I never want to go back to that phase again. So I knew I had to make a change. And at that point, we just bought a house like 2 months later, or 2 months before that. I was like, I'm going to give this all up. I don't care. I'd rather live in a tent and be free and not have all the stress of them trying to make me do the notes, treat the way I don't want to treat, and all the things. It just felt morally not right to me. My body was just dead. I'd rather be living in a tent with, no one that's jumping down my throat to do these notes than to have these people tell me what to do and say I have to do it this way and that's the only way. I just didn't believe in it. And I don't like to do things that I just don't believe in. Whatever I do, I'm 100% committed to because I 100% believe in it. So, if that's you and you're like, look, I hate when they're trying to force these notes down, down my throat, or I hate especially in pelvic health, they try to tell us in an orthopedic setting how we should treat, and then they force our patients onto these aids. These aids have no clue what to do with a pelvic health client. They work them out times 10 and then they're all flared. They don't know. So that was a big sticking point for me. And so I felt couldn't do what I was built to do, was to make these patients have amazing outcomes. And that bothered me. That bothered me a lot. And because of that, probably what's affected my health. Because it just I went home every night thinking, wow, I could do so much better. I knew I could. And they weren't letting me. So then I made the decision, and that's when I made the jump. But if you're, let's go back to part-time, okay? If you're the part-time person that's dabbling, then typically you're the person that wants kind of all your ducks in a row. I'm just generalizing, just from people I've coached, okay? You want all your ducks in a row type thing. And a lot of times you don't have to have all your ducks in a row. The biggest thing that you need to go and from a side hustle to a full-time is, number 1, you have to know a target. So you have to know, do I need 7 patients a week? Do I need 8 patients a week? You need to know how much you're going to charge. Typically, I would recommend $200 a visit. That's average across the whole entire United States. You need your big 45 list. I talked about this a lot, but you need 15 doctors on your list, 15 gyms on your list, and 15 Facebook groups on your list that you're actually going to be getting clients from. You need to know what your target marketing strategy is. So are you going to be talking to Bikers that have pudendal neuralgia, is that your population? Trail people. Is your main population pregnancy or postpartum? What is it? And then where do those people actually hang out, and how are you going to target those people? So is your saying going to say, we help treat pregnancy and beyond in active women type thing? Like, you really want to be very specified. So for us at OrthoPelvic, we help men and women get rid of bladder leakage, hip pain, low back pain, to return back to activities they love. And then a lot of times we're promoting leakage with CrossFit, or, decreased leakage with CrossFit, because that's our target population, is CrossFitters that have leakage. So that's how micro niche you want to be able to target the population that you feel works best for you and that you like treating. Then you got to figure out, are you going to be mobile, or are you going to rent out a small room? You can rent out from a massage therapist. You can rent out from a salon. You can rent out from a chiropractor. You can rent out from an esthetician. There are so many just random rooms that you can actually rent out. And typically that price point is going to be anywhere between $200 to $400 a month for that room rental. And, you can have patients come see you in that spot, or you can decide to save that money and be mobile, but just know that you're going to be giving up more of your time if you're mobile. So that's just something to consider. So those are the main things. And then just the little stuff. What EMR system are you going to have that? How are you going to get people to pay? You can also just do straight up Venmo. That's free. There's no charges to that. So, how is that set up? And if you guys want, just, you can always DM me. There's always my email below. And, I have a whole get started with your business in 2 days and beyond. So literally within 2 days, you can start seeing patients. Super easy. It's like a checklist, and you just bam, 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 check all the things, and you get started and you start your business. Like, that's literally it. We don't have to overcomplicate stuff. Do not overcomplicate it. It's easier than you think. You just got to know how to market and get leads coming in, to be able to grow your practice. So those are, the biggest things going from a side hustle to full time. And at some point, you're just going to have to decide, when you start getting, 7 patients or 5 patients a week. Okay, now is it still worth having this part-time job over here? And is that actually slowing me down? And the answer typically is yes, even if you don't realize it at the time, because that 20 hours that you're working at the PRN job is 20 hours that you could be out marketing. You could be doing events. You could be talking to people online. And that's actually a distraction to get you to go full-time into your business. So that's when you have to weigh the pros and cons of, is this worth it? And that's why some people will just dive in head first, so that they can fully focus on their business and just go all in and be like, okay, game on, I'm doing this. That's what, that is something to think about. What do I want? What does full-time even mean for me? Full-time for some people means seeing 8 patients a week. That's full-time for them. Sometimes, for some people, full-time means seeing 15 to 20 patients a week. Sometimes for crazy people like me, full-time meant I was seeing almost 50 patients a week I got up to for months. That's 2 PT's caseloads, or OT's caseloads, or PTA's caseloads. Like, that's insane. Don't do that, by the way. It just depends on what you feel is right for you. And then you also want to look at, okay, if I see this many patients, am I satisfied with that? Am I satisfied with the salary that I'm getting? Am I satisfied with the time that I have with myself, my family? Like, what do I want? So I build everything around, what do I want? And you got to start there. Otherwise, you're just going to kind of like go along with wherever the business goes. And that may not lead you to happiness of actually what you want. It may lead to sometimes resentment, because you're going down this path and you don't really know what you want. And then you find yourself like, oh my gosh, now I have this like crazy thing and I don't have time for myself, and you're resentful. So that's another thing, to think about. Build the business around what you want. Don't let the business take over and be the driving force. You be the driving force of what you want and where your energy wants to go. And then you build the business to fit what you want. Oh, that's massive. That's so massive. Don't let it drive you. You drive it. You be in control and you say what you want, and then you'll get it. You just got to be really honest about what you want. And that's how you go from side hustle to full time. And you just keep dreaming, keep going up and up from there. If you are ready to change your life, click the link in the show notes to get your ticket to PelviBiz. Let's go.